What's up, guys? David with Miracle Canine Training. We're out here with Bella again. So we filmed a video with Bella yesterday. This is our 1-week board and train that is in for leash walking issues, right? So while she's with us, all we're working on here is perfecting the walk, perfecting some basic obedience on the walk, and seeing how far we can get with that. Yesterday, we did the process of introducing the prong collar, introducing doorways, working through some things. She's a very, very frantic dog, so she kind of will panic sometimes on different surfaces and stuff and try to just dart and go every which way. So we've been kind of working her through that with the prong collar here for the first 24 hours. What we're going to do is we're going to start off today with doing a quick prong collar walk. We're going to make sure that physically I could get her into the position I want her to be. I'm not looking for it to look perfect. I'm looking for, as I'm walking and taking her for this walk, I can keep her on the left side, I can keep her in the heel position, keep her nose off of the ground, using the leash solely here. I want to also know that I could use the leash to get her into the sit position here. If all of that looks good and checks out, what we're going to do is we're going to start adding the e-collar into the process today. So let's get started. All right, so the walking looks really good. The heeling looks great. We're not having any big issues there with anything. Obviously, I'm able to maintain this position. I'm able to get sits with the leash. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to start the e-collar training process here next. Okay, so now that the leash walking looks good with the prong collar, we're going to start layering the e-collar into this, and this is going to start just proofing things a little bit more, getting a little bit more clear of a understanding of that position, and having a tool implemented and understood with the heeling that we could use to shape it and enforce it in a little bit more clear of a manner. So what we're going to do is we're going to start the process of pairing the two together. So I'm going to be using continuous pressure on the e-collar to enforce the position that I want the dog to stay in, right? So the heel position here. So what I need to do first is I need to figure out what the dog's general working level is going to be. This is the first level I can tell that the dog feels and is motivated by, and then what we're going to do is we're going to utilize that level to then condition in with the leash. So I'm going to start at 0, go up, give a tap, go up, give a tap until I see some sort of sign that she's noticing it. So right about there. It's a level 18, so what we're going to do is we're going to start at 0, go up, give a tap, go up, give a tap one more time, and see if that level stays consistent here. Okay, so that was in a 10 this time, so relatively consistent. So what we're going to do is we're going to start really low. We're going to start at like a 6 here, and then we'll gradually increase that level from there as we need to. So let's get started. All right, so throughout this process here, what I'm going to be doing is conditioning in continuous pressure on the e-collar, so holding the button down while helping into whatever position it is I'm trying to get. In this case, we're only doing the heeling. We're not going to add the sits in yet. So what I'm going to do is as the dog gets ahead, I'm going to press and hold, back up, and release when the dog gets behind me. Same deal, press and hold, back up, release. And the goal here is to start to get the dog making the connection that this means exactly the same as this. So every single time I give leash information, I'm pairing the e-collar with that as well. Now again, when we're dealing with a frantic dog, traffic, things like that can really spook them. So what we're doing is we're just making sure we're working through it all the same. We're utilizing that e-collar at a motivating enough level to work through any of those distractions. Looking really good so far. Now, if you've done your foundational work with the prong collar before you add the e-collar into the mix, it should be a simple process because the dog already understands the basic muscle memory of the command. All you're doing now is getting them accustomed to a different sensation in conjunction with that command. Now, as we're going here, we're going to find that the dog is going to get a little bit less and less sensitive to the e-collar as we go. That's just because the novelty of the sensation is wearing off. Like I said, we're at a 7 right now on this, and you can see she's responding to it. You can see she's kind of concerned when she feels it and stuff, But I always remind people that with this particular e-collar, typically levels 0 through about 15, most people don't even feel, right? So she is feeling something, obviously, but the dramatic responses we may be getting sometimes have nothing to do with it being painful, and it's just startling the dog. That's why you're getting that response out of them. So as they get more accustomed to it and they get more kind of used to the sensation, what we find is that it's less and less of a big deal each time, and that we have to work a little bit higher to make that level more motivating. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and walk through this park up here a little bit. Again, just using the level that's gonna be motivating enough for this particular situation. She's doing really great right now. So again, still utilizing that e-collar for any bigger distractions, birds, sniffing. Obviously in the park, there's a lot more smells, so it tends to make this a little bit harder for the dog while you're working through things. So just gradually increasing that level. We're at about a 10. But the big thing is don't get caught on the number. You're gonna find that every single dog that you work with is gonna respond much differently to this. There's gonna be dogs that you need to be at a 70 for this entire process. And then there's gonna be dogs like her that work very low. Again, this e-collar goes up to 100. So we're about 10% up on the level right now. But what I'm looking to see here is that when I utilize the e-collar, that 75% of the work is being done by the e-collar, and only 25% at that point is the leash. So the leash is just giving that direction. The e-collar is actually doing the work as far as motivating the dog to move that direction. All right, so the last part of this equation that we're gonna be doing is gonna be basic speed changes. So what I try to do is I try to make sure that the dog is not going into autopilot mode by testing them with varying my pace. So what you're gonna see me do here is you're gonna see me start by going at a nice quick pace, making sure the dog is maintaining that quick pace, and tons of traffic and noises, motorcycles, things like that going on right now, making this a little bit more challenging for the dog. But anyways, nice quick pace. Then I'm gonna go from that quick pace to a slow pace. And I'll be using that e-collar if the dog doesn't immediately slow down with me. Then we'll go back to a quicker pace again. Then back to that slow pace. And that time, notice that she stopped with me. She's much, much better. So we got a very, very loud truck going on right there. Again, nice, difficult distractions. Okay, so quicker pace again here. Making sure that she's matching my pace. Going to slow, making sure she's slowing down with me. Been very good. Again, quicker pace. Going to nice and slow. Excellent. You see she's doing a good job of stopping. Now again, like we talked about, this is a very frantic dog. She gets super spooked by traffic and stuff, so she's doing fantastic right now. I know she's definitely still a little concerned about the things going on around her, but she's controlling those impulses really, really well, making sure that she's staying nice and focused and attentive on what we're doing. You're gonna find that over the course of the next couple of days here, that is gonna get much better as she gets comfortable with staying in that position and practicing that degree of impulse control. Okay, so again, we're only like 24 hours into training. This is the start of day number 2. This dog is killing it right now, doing really, really great. Took to the e-collar really well. So what we're gonna be doing over the rest of the day today is we're gonna be getting 1 to 2 more walks like that in, proofing this e-collar in this stage of the training, and then prepping ourselves for tomorrow to start moving into step number 2 of e-collar conditioning with healing, which is starting to fade out the leash a little bit, and also adding it into things like sits and stuff like that. So she's doing really, really good so far. She's gonna make a lot of progress over the next couple days. And this should just show you, I mean, after a week, you're gonna see what 7 days of consistency with a solid program does for your dog's training, particularly their leash walking. So we're excited to share that process. We'll keep posting about her, and we'll see you guys tomorrow on the next one.